This a survival story, true get a story. This is my story, real get a story. Hey, I remember those days when hell was my home, when me and mama bed was a big piece of foam, and me never like paid and my ear never come. When mama gonna work, me go street go roam. I remember when Danny them get my snow cone and make him lick a bread and then kick up Jerome. I remember when we visit them with pure big stone, and the boy Danny pop out something with full grown. I remember when we run, but I get him knee blown, and my best friend Richie get doing I'm down. I remember so.
I'll go because maybe she can tell me the rest. I'm silver. I'm a Cancer. This is what I know. Okay.
Either a Gemini moon or rising. I don't really remember, but if you care to, you can put your birthday and time of birth in the chat, and Bree will look it up.
She got it already. She done got everybody.
She might already have it on fire. Uh-oh, we can't hear Amina.
Amina's muted.
Is she muted? Mm-hmm. Unmute yourself, Amina. Can you?
Okay, there we go. Yeah, my name's Amina. Hey. My name's Amina, and I'm a Pisces, and I don't know when I was born.
You're a Virgo moon and a Leo rising.
Oh, you remember? You got a good memory.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to look up numbers right now. I remember everybody.
Yes, Bree. Yes, Bree.
Thank you, Bree.
Hey, Shantina, how are you?
Good, Amina. How are you?
Real good. Is that silver the silver I know?
Yes, ma'am. How are you? I was
real good. It's been a long time.
It has. It's so good to see you.
It's so good to see you, too. You look great.
Thank you. You too.
Oh, I love this. I love this. Spread the love. Spread the love. So, how y'all feeling?
All right. How you feeling?
I'm feeling full of energy, vitality. I'm feeling virile.
Now, did I miss it? Did you say your signs as well?
No, I didn't. Sorry. Yeah, sure. So I am Dayatraamber, and my zodiacal triad, my own term. Okay, I'm in a silly mood. Is Taurus, Western anyway. Taurus, Sagittarius rising, and a Virgo moon. Yay, Virgo moon's in the building. So the reason why I like for us to talk about our zodiac and astrology and all of that is because it helps us get closer to ourselves. It's a tool that we can use that's pretty ancient, pretty long-standing. So it definitely has helped me, and so I like to share it with others, and so that's why I'm all about the zodiac and what's what and trying to learn this energy. I am in no way an expert, but I like to share what I know, and I also like to share what I feel intuitively because I trust my intuition, and my goal and purpose of bringing folks together with this radical self-love workshop is so that we can better know ourselves, so we can better love ourselves, so we can better love other people. And we have a world full of radical self-loving people spilling over into other people, and everything is just dope, right? This is how we, these are our steps toward healing and in a better world, ultimately. And I think it's important for us to identify even a long-term goal, even goals that sometimes we feel like, I don't know if I'm going to see in my lifetime. Even if we create, small cells of decency, as they say, and self-love, that we can make an impact. We can make an impact on ourselves and the people around us. So as one more person spreading love, right? And what an exciting time. We are here at the new moon in Aries 2022. And we are on fire. I know I am. I am on fire. And one of the reasons, first of all, it's actually April 2nd. The new moon came in yesterday. But today we're doing the workshop. And it's also the beginning of the month of Ramadan. And it's the beginning of the new year, actually, you know, as we enter into springtime. Aries being a cardinal sign, meaning first and foremost. What I would like to do is go through what the new moon represents and what the Aries energy represents. And feel free to chime in. If you're not comfortable chiming in, you can always use the chat. I got the chat open so I can see it immediately if you do have a comment and you don't want to interrupt. But Aries energy. Aries represents the first house in astrology. There's 12 houses that represent the 12 signs and 12 planets. So that first house is represented by the Aries energy, which is the beginning, the fundamental. I actually wrote down terms because actually today I knew Aries was a cardinal sign, right? And there's 4 cardinal signs, and they come at the beginning of each sort of section. If we look at the 12 houses and the 12 signs, like stages of life, Aries is the birth, right? Aries is coming out of the womb, like waking up, taking that first breath, fundamental first, right? And so that's what Aries represents. And you could also see it in nature. You see it happening in nature. You see the leaves starting to turn back green. You see the first little buds. You know, it's time to plant seeds now so that we can really bud towards the end of this season, right? Which is our first sort of triad, you know, Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. And then we get to our next cardinal sign, which is Cancer, cardinal water. But tonight, we're talking about the new moon. And the new moon is the time of the month where we plant our seeds. It's the time of the month where we have a new beginning, a new month, and we set new intentions and new goals. They could be old goals, but we do it new, right? It's like our opportunity for newness as we go day to day to day in the mundane, right? We kind of can follow the moon and the moon cycle to give us hope, to give us, it's like a connection, like we're connected to all of this nature, to include the cosmos, right? So it's like a communication, like the moon being like a mother or a teacher, because it rules Cancer, which is the nurturing sign, which represents the mother. Aries is that baby being born, me. You know, first house represents me energy, you know, so how appropriate for radical self-love, right? So you got that moon intertwined with that Aries energy, right? That motherly nurturing energy, right? Moving forward in fire and like you think about like the Big Bang and how the universe theoretically started with a bomb, like bam, I'm here, right? And that's what that Aries energy is about. I wrote down a whole bunch of words because it got me so excited. I get really excited when it comes to words, right? But I really want you to listen to these words and really take it in, because it kind of blew me away as I was reading these words. Some of them, part of it is just the definition, but I wrote down the list of synonyms as well. But this is what cardinal means, the word cardinal. Greatness, importance, fundamental. Ironically, they call the high priest of the Catholic Church cardinals, right? So you got synonyms like basic, main, chief, primary, prime, principal, premier, first, capital, paramount, preeminent, major, foremost, highest, greatest, key, essential, vital, crucial, integral, elemental, rudimentary, root, and radical. And I thought it was so fitting that radical was the last word on this list that I found. And it really, kind of drove home like the whole sort of purpose of why we're doing like radical self-love, because it's the fundamental. Loving ourselves is really fundamental. And so we're dealing with that fundamental energy. We're dealing with this base energy that without it, it's like making a cake. Without what a cake can't not have, and is not a cake. Flour, I've seen flourless cake, so I stopped myself. I was gonna say that though. Well, so let's say this: it ain't gonna work. I don't think that might work too good or go over too well, right? But that foundational change, that foundational sense of self, and foundational, like it's just that core piece, like your heart itself, that heartbeat. I think of the heart when I think of heart, because they say like cardiac arrest, cardiovascular system, right? Cardinal, from the root word card. I was playing. I don't know the root word card, but I'm just saying.
I was about to look that up because I'm all about that.
I think it might be a connection though. I ain't too sure, but it flowed, and I was like, got the king, queen, ace, jack, then the numbers. I don't know. 52, I don't know. Joker, I don't know. So, but that might be something to look into. But these words really just blew me away, because it just speaks to the importance of this energy, and I think about the zodiac. All of us have all of it, right? So I want you guys, I know everybody don't know their birth chart that well, but think about, and that's why we have to get together and go over our birth charts. We have to do that. I mean, you can pull it up yourself and have it, but also just to be able to discuss it or find some guidance around what everything means, you know what I mean, is very helpful. But it's important because as we talk about, we go from new moon to new moon and talk about the signs in these new moons. It all affects all of us, but in different ways, because we all have all of it in different ways. When we're born, the same planets is still there, the same signs, everything. So they just, it's like musical chairs. Then somebody give birth, whoosh, chick, chick. That's your joint, and then that's your lens through which you experience your existence here. And so that's why it's important. So going more into this Aries energy, you want to talk about Mars, because Mars rules Aries. I know you've heard men come from Mars, women come from Venus. Why? Because Mars is very masculine and Venus is very feminine. That's why people say that. The energy, right? So we all have all of it, but to different degrees. So having Mars ruling this planet, Mars is hot, red. Got my Mars hat on, right? Mars is a fast-moving planet. It's a personal planet. These we have personal planets, the planets that are closest to the Earth, and then we have the more general planets or generational planets that are further from the earth. So they move slower around the sun than the closer planets. They move a little bit faster. Mars represents the first house. First house is the self. Here I am. Right? It represents the head. When we talk about the head, can't help but talk about the ram. What they do? They got them dope ass horns. And that's how they fight. Mars is the fighter. Represents the fighter. Mars is about competition. Mars is about fucking shit up, coming through, getting it done. Cardinal signs get shit done. They're not playing. And Mars in particular has more of a self-centered. I know we usually use self-centered in a negative way, but it's not necessarily negative. Because Mars compete with their own self. It's not always about competition with other people. It's just a competition-oriented way of thinking and being. Especially if, like, Mars is in the ego sign, in the sun sign. But we have other planets where, you know, for me, Aries is Mercury. I can't hardly see Free face, but I know she's probably laughing. My Mercury is in Aries. And of course, in the Vedic chart, I'm an Aries sun. So I can see this masculine action, physical, you know, Mars use their body to express themselves. You know, they like to use their body more than their words necessarily, but I got Mercury, so I use my words. I use my words in that energy. You know, and let me see, the athlete, the soldier, I said that. Yeah, and so that ram, the way that they fight, and also ram, you know, ram is like forcing something into something. That's very dick oriented. You know, right? That's what them rams do with their heads. They also do it when they, you know, that's the male sheep. And I don't know how many sheep they get to have, but you know, they got that territorial thing like most animals, right? The male will fight damn near to the death so they can have all the females. Oh, so only the strongest one is going to get it. So that energy is like, they didn't come to be pussyfooting around with their horns. They came to fuck something up. And head first. Head first. And that's Aries energy. Head first. Before you know it, you in some shit. Because you head first. Think about it real good later. But Aries is about action. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Make that shit happen. And so this is the energy that we're in. And the moon represents our emotions. So you think about our emotional life and how this energy sort of integrates into it. It's really powerful. It's really, 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 really powerful. Oh, so this was the definition of ram. One of the definitions of ram, right? A break or other projecting part of the bow of a warship for piercing other ships. Right? A piercing, bam, right? You remember Grease Lightning? In that final race, and he had them, the cheater, remember that dude that was cheating? And he had them little knife things sticking out of his tires to tear up John Travolta's tires and tear up his car. They call that a ram on a ship. That's a ram. So it's that masculine, you know, projecting vibe. No nonsense, not playing. came to fuck something up. Came to fuck something, and not fuck something up. Don't get me wrong. Like tear it up and destroy it, but more to make happen whatever needs to be happen in that scenario where Aries energy shows up. So it could be tearing something up, literally, but it also could be, creating something powerful. You said something, Bree?
Or one is necessary for the other, because it's absolutely destruction. That's a part of the creating whatever the next thing is. It comes out of it, like.
Right. Sometimes you got to tear shit down to build it back up anyway.
That's the Aries and Scorpio with the planet Mars, because you need the destruction for something new to be created. You gotta destroy something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so glad Bree is here today because she helps me with that, because she is like, she's a researcher. She retains so much information. I thought I retain information, but Bree be retaining information. Maybe her memory is better than mine. But you said something? I see your lips move and then I can't hear you.
Yeah, my bad, because I'm on mute. I was like, I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, roughly forced into place. I don't like how that sounds, but that's what ram. It says to ram something means to roughly force into place. Ram it.
But is the ram? I mean, in that sense, you're using the ram in the sense of the definition of ram versus
the animal, right? But I was reading it and I was thinking, this is why they call it a ram. I'm not sure which one came first, but I suspect that ramming something for a person came first, and then upon observing a ram is like they kind of fit each other, just based on how they fight. And ironically, Mars and Rams and Aries is about fighting. So based on how they fight, that's what they do. They be knocking the fuck out of each other. They be knocking, and so Aries is represented by the head. The head. Every sign has a body part. Every sign has a element. This one is fire. Aries is fire. Cardinal fire. So cardinal as a descriptor of the fire. The initial fire, like Bree said, that fire guy might have to, what do you call it when it sterilize the area?
Yes.
For new life. Yeah, like the volcano.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the volcano. I don't know if you've ever seen how the vegetation come up. Boy, that's how islands are created, by volcanoes, and islands are so beautiful and lush because the best vegetation grows off that fresh fire, that initial fire, so just keeping that in mind, I want to ask the group if there is anything that you can think of in your own okay, I'm just now seeing your definition over here, Bree.
Oh, the root.
To do that, we need to release something very important. I'm sorry, I'm losing track because you said the root word is Latin word cardo. Oh, okay, meaning.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, I got glasses on and I still can't.
It's okay. It's
meaning hinge. Okay, you want to go through it? Yeah.
So the Latin adjective cardinalis, which meant serving as a hinge, but the root word is cardo, so you weren't that far off. Meaning hinge. Since a hinge is a device on which a door turns, cardo can mean basically something very important, something on which a development turns. It's a turning point. So.
Okay, got you. So, what I don't know what you meant by the things we do that we need to release.
Aries new moon. It's like oriented. So it's the things that we do that we need to release. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The things that we do, right? Because Aries is action.
Yeah. So it's like an official new year. Official time for that, for the new moon. Yeah.
For the new moon.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I hear you, Silver. Wow. Yeah, I'm like, wow. I'm like, wow, too. So I've been thinking about it. Definitely today, I can feel this energy. I've been in a couple of meetings. Well, I was in, 2 meetings. And just interacting with other people, I can feel people rumbling to like connect with each other, to like do something. You know what I mean? And it's a really powerful vibe. I wanted to go around and take the temperature on how this Aries new moon energy might be showing up in your own experience or observation in the last few days, even leading up to it, because you have that shadow period as it approaches and as it leaves. In particular, any particular experiences or observations that you've seen that might be related to this Aries energy in these last few. And also, I just want to lift up before somebody responds that whenever we have a new moon, the new moon is reflecting the sun. So the sun is the time where the sun and moon are in the same sign. So it's kind of special that way too.
I'm not sure about the new moon, but as far as the Aries energy goes, and I don't know if it has to do with the fact that it's springtime or it's because my sun sign is Aries. The end of right before Aries comes, right before my birthday comes, I tend to feel a lot more low. And then as soon as Aries gets closer, as soon as spring, literally right before my birthday, right before spring starts, then I feel renewed. My energy is lighter. The things that, it's literally every year, like down. And then I feel released. And that's it. But I don't know that has anything to do with the moon as much as that's literally the cycle I go through every year. And it may be the same cycle that a lot of people go through every year because of the weather and the spring. So I really don't know what it is, but it's typical for me.
It's definitely in alignment with the weather. And what's interesting, like we were saying earlier about like looking around at nature. Mm-hmm. It's like we are connected to nature. So while it's cold outside, we feel cold. I mean, we literally feel cold, but we also feel cold like emotionally. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We slow down. Even if we still work, we still slow down to some degree. It takes us longer to do stuff. We have snow, we have storms, we have all this other stuff. And then we just don't want to go out, not like we do when it's warm.
No, and all animals, they go underground, they hibernate. We semi-hibernate.
Yeah.
In the winter.
Yeah.
It's so cold over here. It's horrible. I'm hoping I can go to Arizona or something in the winter for at least a couple months, like in February and January.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Next year, I don't know. We'll see. I know Donna Habib does it all the time. She's so lucky.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you know what? If we prioritize it, we can do it, right? But in terms of what you were saying, Shantina, as far as the, right, because it's your birthday coming up too, that's anticipation. And it is that time of year. And it is a big relief at this time, I think, for most people. It's like, okay, it's going to get warm. You know? But
for me, I don't say it's tied to the weather, and per se, like the cold, as much as like something internally feels
the mood
low, and then it starts to change. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, because it's still, you know what I mean? But the change is happening. And I don't know. I try to take advantage of it though, in the sense of when the new energy comes, doing whatever I need to do to try to like restart. You know, that happens every year. What can I leave? What can I do differently?
Right.
What do I need to do just new? So
Thank you, Ashe. Ashe. Anybody else want to talk about how this Aries energy or the new moon energy or both or whatever is showing up or has showed up? Even in how people are acting. It might not be you particularly. It could be just something you observe on a general sense. You know, things that are happening in the media, things that are happening. You know, what about that slap heard around the world? That's very Aries.
Oh man.
Very emotional driven Aries. Yeah. How about that?
Perfect way to open up Aries season with a slap.
Bam! Heard around the world. Everybody's talking about it. Yeah.
Valid.
Yeah. What about in our lives? What, you gonna say something?
It's hard for me to think of. All I keep thinking about is Ramadan, and then also Lent are happening. Right, so like I see that people are literally, well, like from like a religious perspective, like people are preparing to release certain behaviors, kind of like as like a ritual thing every year around this time, which is interesting. But yeah, just as far as like, yeah, I don't really see any other, like I would have to really meditate on that to really think like, what do I see that is different from, you know? Because I don't know.
I also noticed around this time of year, I know somebody close to me who always seems to run into difficulties this time of year. And I also have noticed that over time, that it seems like there is a lot of death, like right before, and I'm like, is it? And it tends to be in people who have had health ailments, right? So, and I always wonder, like, is it something to do with the weather? Like, is it that their body just approaches the season where it's just too harsh, and their body succumbs to it, and then they move on right before spring or right at spring to whatever happens after here. But I always tend to notice that people who have had health challenges, by the time they get here, they don't necessarily pull through. Or that I notice that's when people tend to not be able to pull through.
That's interesting.
That's deep. Yeah, that's very deep.
I mean, we do sort of survive the winter, right?
Right.
Think about, there was a time, I mean, it probably is historical. It probably goes back, that people don't survive the winter.
Yeah.
If you think about the technology we have now based on yesteryear.
Oh yeah, a lot of people, they have a heart attack shoveling snow. For one example.
Yeah.
And then if you think about it on a historical level, as far as storing food, you think about like homesteading or like really subsistence farming and being at odds with the elements. A lot that we take for granted, right? Like, what if we had to actually chop the wood or the heat, you know what I mean, and worry about coyotes coming, you know what I mean, or bears or whatever, stuff that we just don't worry about, but our ancestors had to worry about that stuff. So I could see the winter as being a time that's very scary, especially in these next to the woods around here. You know, it's like it's cold. I often think about like what the people, you know, especially the natives from this land, because I'm like, why would anybody want to live here? It's so damn cold. But
Then
summer
you try to
is
get in
great.
before it gets dark. You try to get home before 5 o'clock when it gets dark.
I know. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny, but you also don't want to leave it because it to me feels like the warmest place too at the same time. You know, probably because our families are here, and you know, it don't matter how cold it is. You'd rather be with people you love than not.
Yeah, I could deal with it. The snow is just for the kids. I could deal with the winter more if we had no snow.
Right.
Anybody else want to share a relationship that they've seen with this Aries energy in this past week?
Allergies.
Yeah, allergies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we are unfreezing even though it don't seem like it sometimes.
Yeah.
But when that snow melts, all kinds of bacteria be in the air.
Also, the new
Yellow snow. Frank Zappa used to sing a song about yellow snow.
Yeah, I know about yellow snow. I don't want nothing to do with no yellow snow. That's no yellow, nah.
And brown and black snow.
Right.
Yeah, I mean it get pretty grimy around here. You know when
I
it's
know.
all dirty and muddy and.
Cigarette butts.
But you know, think about that. We talking about nature, but we talking about our lives too. And it sort of reflects, you know how they say, you know, does art reflect life or life reflect art? It's like we feel like Shantina said, you know, it's more internal. Like, yeah, the weather is bad, but it's internal. Right. So it's like did the weather make you feel bad or did you feel bad? I mean, I believe we do have the power to energetically change the weather. So I think you know, we create our reality, but we also were born into this reality.
Right.
It's interesting.
You know, it's like we're part of it and creating it at the same time. At the same time. So it's like a beautiful puzzle, you know. When you see those artworks, I can't think of the name. It's a name that you call them with those designs that repeat and repeat. I'm thinking Kundalini, you know, just how those designs just like go out, like mirror over and over and over.
Kind of like a kaleidoscope.
Kind of like a kaleidoscope, but it's a name that they call them. I know when they do the tapestries, like the Oriental tapestries, and they have like a certain name of those designs, patterns.
I can't think of it.
I know, right? It'll come.
It's called something.
I know. I done got so stuck on that. I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, but when we think about, you know, how this energy shows up, it can show up in so many ways. Like even from, you know, what we see in public. You know.
Sorry. Is it a mandala?
Mandala.
It's killing me.
Is it mandala? What's the verb? I mean, what's the vowel in there? Mandala or mandala?
That's a good question. I think it's mandala.
I think it's A.
Mandala, like M-A?
I think so.
Mandala. Yeah. Cycles, patterns, you know, and that's what we're acknowledging and tapping into as we come together, like around radical self-love and utilizing is it mandala with an N or mandala?
Oh,
Mandala.
Mandala.
Right. So it's almost like a map, like a mandala looking map, you know, to sort of like navigate. And even in how we love ourselves, like it's my opinion that if we can use the zodiac to keep us on track with the energy. It's like a communicator from the higher energies, from the cosmos. And, you know, I learned a lot, like talking to people about astrology and considering it as yeah, I hear like, you know, is that good or is that bad? Right? And it's not about good or bad. It's about is and balance. You know what I mean? It's about acknowledging the energy and learning how to use the energy, learning how to make that energy work for you.
Right.
Because we could judge it all day, but it doesn't change it. Okay, it doesn't change. Like you said, Tina, every year you feel like this. You know, at this time. There's other ways we feel at other times. Every year. And so, if we can learn how to learn who we are in the context of the cosmos, then we can better manipulate our reality and make it how we want it. You know, and I identify this type of knowledge and this type of practice as something that is empowering for us, that we've been disempowered, and it's been sort of commercialized and discredited in the broader society. And when I look at things that have been discredited in the broader society, it always raises a red flag for me, like, oh, why they don't want me to pay attention to this? And what I've learned has confirmed those thoughts and those feelings around that. So just relating it back to loving ourselves. Aries is all about loving yourself. It's definitely about yourself. But we want to put love in the equation, care in the equation, intention, you know, intention and bringing to life what we want to bring to life and letting die what needs to die. So I want to invite you to think of an affirmation as it relates to this Aries energy. What kind of affirmations can we make? What kind of, you know, things can we say to ourselves to intentionally utilize this energy for our own good, for the good of our own self? I'm reading the chat too. Sorry. Right, the spring equinox. I hear you, Bree. Right, that's when the days, the night and the day balance out, and then our days become longer. It's really a beautiful work of art when you think about creation and the signs and symbols and the things that we have to help us read our environment, read our experience here. You know, we're energy having a human experience here. You know, it's really exciting to think about, what was it all for? Why did we do this? I have an affirmation, and one of my affirmations is, I energize myself. I am energy that I generate and regenerate. Does that make sense? I am energy that I generate and regenerate. I am the energy, and I think that that's a interesting affirmation because we talk a lot, especially this group we have here, about regenerative ecologies and regenerative practices, and energy begets more energy. And one of the things that I learned as a fitness trainer is that you get more energy by putting out more energy. It seems counterintuitive, but you can't exert enough energy to pass the fuck out. It don't just automatically happen if you don't eat good and take care of yourself. But in a scientific sort of way, biological kind of way, the more energy you exert and you build that up, right? Like we build up our systems in our body as we practice generating energy. And so I think that affirmation helps and kind of identifies with that Aries energy, and acknowledging and naming our power that we have right now. One of the questions that I like to ask folks, and I wanted to do it after somebody else said something, but I'll do it on mine, is what can you do with your affirmation? Can you do it yourself? Do you need somebody else's help to do it? Or is it somebody else's job to do? And most people, I would say generally, do make affirmations that they can do themselves, like it's for yourself, right? To make your affirmation. But to not limit affirmations to things that you do yourself, but just to name it, so that even our goals and affirmations that include other people or require other people can still be, put out into the ethers and still, be manifested through this process. Because we can simply identify, I need somebody else to help me do this, but as we love on ourselves, I want to lead us towards focusing on the one that we can do our own self, as your own personal affirmation, obviously, but I am energy, reminding yourself that you are energy, having a human experience, generating energy and regenerating energy.
The one that comes to mind in regards to Aries, to me, is because, like you said, Aries is I am. I am. That's the affirmation, because it's part of me understanding and learning about my chart, or how astrology impacts me or relates to me, or I relate to it. Is it has allowed me to be more self-accepting. So the I am covers everything. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I am energy, like you said. I am positive light. I am headstrong. I am intelligent. I am whatever. I am whatever, even if it's not what is considered negative. But it's an understanding or acceptance of yourself, and you are who you're supposed to be. And that's okay. You know what I mean? It's we walk around a lot of times, a lot of people, most of us walk around wanting to be something else or be different from who we are, when it's just like, who cares? Like, you gotta accept yourself. If you don't accept yourself, who can? Why? If you don't accept yourself, what does it matter if someone else accepts you? Accept yourself, and just and be yourself. Be okay with who you are, so that you can build on who you are instead of beating yourself up.
I am.
It needs to be a t-shirt. If you don't accept yourself, what does it matter if someone else doesn't accept you? I had to think about that. I was like, that is so very true.
And we always looking for acceptance.
Yeah, right.
It's like somebody else got to accept us so that we can accept ourselves. What?
That's fake. Yeah, that's fake. That's fake. You know, you can't do it. Why would you want to do it? And what are they accepting if you don't even accept yourself?
That's right. And some people think it's selfish if they think of themselves first, but if you're not good to yourself, you can't be good to anybody.
That's right. It's like the airplane thing, where they tell you, oxygen mask, put yours on first, and then the next person. Because if you don't have oxygen, if you can't save yourself, you can't save anybody else.
Exactly. And if we can't love ourselves,
right?
who we think we love?
Right. How can you possibly love anybody else if you don't love yourself? I have to turn my light on.
It's about seeing yourself and other people, knowing that we're connected. One thing. Anybody else have an affirmation? No. I got another affirmation. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, my affirmation was just to be active, because, I mean, it's just easy to be lazy when you're from somewhere that's cold and kind of sad like Buffalo. And so, yeah, my affirmation was to be more active every day. But that was like a personal affirmation I made, like meditation and exercise. Because that's Aries energy too. Literally being active.
Yeah, active. Yeah, action.
Mm-hmm.
Moving around.
That's my affirmation too. Just move around more and exercise more at home. Because I've been slumping ever since I lost my job at Push, but I won my hearing.
Oh, good. Yeah. Yep.
And I got my settlement too, which is
Good. Good.
So, you know, okay.
Ajay.
But I did lose my sister in COVID a couple months ago. She was 3 years younger than me.
Oh, Ajay. Sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
It's not easy.
I'm doing okay behind it. I'm worried about my younger sister because those two were together all the time. The two younger ones, and my younger sister is having a really hard time with this.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough to suffer loss and keep going.
Right.
I know that, you know.
But just
It's
like
not-
we're talking about the mandala, the cycles.
Yeah, it's been 3 years almost for Ismail, and it still is hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bless up, Ishmael, yes. And your sister.
Right.
And all of those, we did not honor the ancestors. Thank you, Amina, for bringing it up. Because usually I honor the ancestors at the beginning, and I missed that part. So thank you.
He's still doing things here to make me laugh. I'll tell you. I can tell you something. Oh
Good.
man.
Good. We always have to acknowledge those that came before us, those that we lost, you know, because we'll be joining them. No, we will. But until then, we got to navigate this place.
That's right.
You know, try to leave it better than we found it.
Right.
You know, what else can you do?
I know. Death is a part of life, even though we hate it. It's part of life.
Right. Exactly.
What generates a lot of fear.
So I'm curious about where Aries fall in everybody's chart. I know Shantina is the Aries sun. I'm an Aries.
What's your birthday, Santina?
March 23rd.
Okay.
Bree, where is Aries in your chart?
That's a great question. I mean, besides my first house, I'm about to try to look at it right now, but I really
Well,
don't.
your first house is Leo, right?
Oh, I lied. My Aries, yeah, my first house is Leo. My Aries is in my ninth house.
Oh, your spiritual house, your first spiritual house.
Yeah, I'm like OG spiritual in my birth chart. Yeah, I don't have it in a practical house.
Wow. Aries in the ninth house. That's the philosopher, the teacher, the traveler,
Right?
the professor.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you're going so hard. Damn near cussed me out about going to school.
Mom, come on.
How's school going?
It's going good. It's just like very taking up a lot of my energy, but it's positive. Yeah, it's just not easy.
You'll be getting a break soon, right? Easter break?
Thank the Lord. Yeah. Well, we had a short break for Easter, but in 4 weeks, about 4 weeks from now, then we get a 4-month break. So until the fall. So just looking forward to the 4 weeks being over. Then I could come check on my plants if any of them are still alive.
Oh my God. We gotta talk
Oh
about that.
God, okay.
Sorry, I have to bring it up.
Oh, bring up Bree's plants out of Bree's house. Okay, we'll talk about that offline.
Breeze, how about Breeze plant? No, I'm just kidding. There's a few, but I had an ant infestation here. And no, really, the exterminator was here. They were loaded in the plants. I had to throw somebody outside. You couldn't believe what happened. Oh my God. Oh my God. They were burrowing in there like hundreds of ants. Yeah, in the big pots.
No, that's terrible. Okay.
Remember those ants were, yeah, in the
Start over
garden
from
across the
scratch.
street too.
Plants, some babies. I'm nursing.
Well,
No.
we'll see what's left.
Very air.
Bree, you brought up something earlier that I wanted to bring here, which was the cards of the day, mood of the day card.
Oh, let's do a mood of the day. Hey, I got cards right here.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Did you know?
Is
I
that
had cards.
sunshine behind you? Is that sunshine sleeping over there?
That's a picture, actually. This is the real sunshine right here. Wait, yeah. Oh, there's you. That's funny.
All that time I thought he was sleeping there. Is that a picture?
Yeah, it's a picture. I thought it was like a
Hey,
realistic.
sunshine.
Oh, what are you doing?
It's funny. It looked like he was sleeping for real.
Oh, Mom, Sunshine likes your greens. Just FYI. I didn't know.
No.
It's not bad. I mean, if you want to have whatever. Okay.
Can you do a card?
Sorry, it's such a spam. Okay. Yes. So card of the day, for the Aries new moon. Card of the day. We had a little song going earlier, but all right. Card of the day.
What was it?
Card of the day. You made it cooler with your impulse.
Right. You gotta do the main part, and I'll jump in.
Card of the day.
Woo woo.
Card of the day. That's really funny. Okay, boom. Can you see this?
No.
Okay, hold on. I think I got it.
Probably because you got that background, it's not gonna let us.
That's absolutely why. Okay, so I'm gonna go background filters and none. Okay, can you see me? Nothing weird. Okay. Can you see this card?
Yeah, but I can't read it.
I feel like that. It's the King of Cups.
Okay.
And the King of Cups is about mature, balanced like love. Because cups represent like the emotionality, and the king is mature and stable with his love. That yeah, so this represents mature and stable love, which is interesting. So maybe that could be like one of our affirmations since this is the card of the day. How would we put that into an affirmation? Like, I am mature and stable love, or I love myself. So that I don't know.
I like I am. When it comes to affirmations, I like I am.
Does that fit? I am mature and stable love. I am King of Cups. Like, I am balanced love, because he's balanced love.
Can you say more?
Well, so the king, he's not. It makes more sense when you think of the rest of the suit. When you think of like the Queen of Cups, is can be taken as overly emotional at times, like emotional imbalance, which is kind of like interesting in the little, I don't know. And then the Knight of Cups but she's very loving, but sometimes it's like it may not be. She's like over like a dramatic displays of love and emotion, which can be good or bad, but it's imbalance is the takeaway. The Knight of Cups, he's more of like a younger person that's in love, but he is traveling with an offer of love, but it may or may not be mature or stable or anything that is that word, yes, stable, right? But he is in love, but it could be fleeting. How they say, like, it could be either like Eros, or what's the other one?
Agape.
Agape, yeah, like it can go either way. He can grow into the maturity of the king, or it can just be fleeting. And then the Page of Cups is just straight up rose-colored glasses, in love with love all day. So it's the idea of love that he's in love with. So that's even more fleeting than the Knight of Cups, because at least the Knight of Cups is sure of what he wants to do. The Page of Cups is just kind of in love with everything. So compared to the other more imbalanced expressions of cup energy, the King of Cups embodies the suit in more of a, like, he is like holistic love. Like, he's a whole love, like symbolically. Yeah. Because even though, like, I don't know if you can see, but the waters beneath his feet are turbulent, but he's still stable, like.
I can see that symbolism.
Yeah.
Stable on turbulent waters. Just to be standing on water, period, is like, right?
Right, he's unmoved, like he can't be moved. Yeah. So I don't know. I need to stop saying I don't know, but
yeah, true.
That is powerful energy, especially considering the idea of like self-love, because everybody deserves stable, but you should be able to count on the love of yourself.
Right.
And be
especially
like
while you're worried about everybody else.
That's very deep.
Are there two eyes at the bottom?
You know, those are his feet, not his toes. Those are his feet.
Okay, no, I mean, below, okay, never mind, that's the water, okay.
Oh, yes, the turbulent
It
water.
looked like two eyes, that's all.
I think I see what you mean,
Yeah, I see it now. That's valid, yeah, no, it's just the water, the way.
See at the bottom, it looks like two eyes.
Interesting. And you know, there's so much to learn about the cards too, because there's more symbolism in this image than what I spoke on today.
Well, as the mood of the day, That's a very interesting card. Does that resonate with anybody?
Yes.
About like today? I hear Bree say yes. What?
That's also
I would say yes.
Yeah, I was saying, when Shantina was talking about coming out of the winter, like the energy coming out of the winter, and how people sometimes, don't come out of that. And I was thinking, like, and then you were talking about, like, what do we need to do? How can we shift, or can we shift to kind of let this work for us? And I was thinking, like, just in the winter being, where having an energy that's even, that's not the word I was thinking, but just kind of like having this even energy so that you can just control your emotions, your state of being, because knowing that it might be a rough season for you, depending on, how the seasons affect you. So I was looking at that card also, and looking at, just being resilient in, turbulent times is important.
Definitely that.
Yeah. Slowing down to like actually like responding to the elements. A lot of times, our jobs don't give us no breaks because it's winter, and we're expected to still be in the same place at the same time every day.
Yeah.
Spend the same 24 hours in the same way that you would in the spring or summer, which doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Which is why most of us have the issues that we have from being stressed and tired and existing against nature. So some things that we can do is make space for ourselves. Amina said something earlier about dipping out to a warmer climate in the wintertime. Figuring out ways, even if it's just take a vacation in the middle of winter, just to get a good refresh.
Can I mention something? As you were talking and Silver was talking, and I was looking at this image, and I was thinking about how his robes are blue, and how he is one with the water, which represents the emotion, and the fish around his neck is like the Piscean fish, like, you know what I mean, kind of pointing like towards his robe, like he's one with his emotions in a psychic kind of way. And that was kind of deep. That just occurred to me.
But that speaks to like that balanced, holistic type of love.
The balance that, yes, trying to keep that balance.
It's like I am love, right? Just be love.
I think it's a mature love for you. It talks about a mature, in the card of the day, right? The mature love for yourself.
Yes.
That you have to exhibit. We have to learn how to do that radical self-love, right? Learn how to be that unwavering love for ourselves. Yeah. That mature love where we don't throw ourselves out in the trash. We have to learn to understand ourselves and love everything about yourself.
Yeah, how do you love yourself when you don't want to know nothing about it?
Right.
Yeah.
In a true way.
You're in denial.
I mean, we don't do that to other people, right? If we say we love somebody, that means we want to know about them.
Right.
We want to know how they felt in the third grade that day,
That's funny.
But, so we owe that to ourselves first.
Right.
We definitely know that we can share that with other people, but really making a concerted effort to share your feelings, your intimacies with yourself. Oh, we saw a comedian the other day, and he said he dated himself, took himself out to dinner, even went home and fucked himself.
Right. Right.
You know, he was being funny, but you know, shit. You know, it's really about the, you know, it's the thought that counts. You know what I mean? Like making that space time. It's like you all are here tonight. You know, taking space, taking time to just spend some time with other folks around self-love, around the radical self-love. Yes, Shantina.
The couple of things that I like to share as an Aries that I've learned because I'm an Aries, right? The thing I caution about is if you feel that Aries energy, right? Sometimes you have to be careful because if you come upon someone else who has that Aries energy, see the thing about the ram is those horns interlock, right? And they literally lock on and they die. You know, if you can't get out of that lock, there is no real winner. You know, somebody dies. So we have to be careful of that energy and how we use it. There's also the aspect that Aries are immature in some ways because Aries had a baby of the zodiac. So we have to be careful about how we let our emotions take over. Maybe that was the slap across that you said was heard across the world. You know, watch how that Aries energy can take you because you're gonna go, like you said earlier, you're gonna fight. You know, Aries fight. You're not gonna lose. First of all, not losing. I don't care what you think. Not losing. Okay, so you gotta be careful because, and I say only be careful because in the end you can end up hurting yourself because you responded to the way you felt, and even though you may think you're right, the end result may not be the result you want if you just base it purely on that emotion and that physicality of it because you do want to move. Like, I've been fidgeting the whole time we've been in here. I've changed position in the chair about 10 times, right? So, but it's that need to move, need to do. I talk a lot, but I only try to talk when I know what I'm talking about. I'd rather do something. You know, right before we got in the car, I was cleaning the closet. You know what I mean? Like, you got to do something. You got to find a positive way to use your energy. And it becomes difficult because you also can feel, and I'm saying it because even if you're not an Aries, sun sign, moon sign, right, you may still feel the energy of that Aries moon where you feel trapped if you can't move.
Restless, yeah.
Yeah, well, not trapped. Like, that's where I feel a lot of times if I feel like someone's trying to keep me from moving, I feel like they're trying to trap me.
Got it.
And you know what I mean? And so I'm trying to get out of that because you're right, restless is definitely part of it. But if you feel like you cannot move or someone is trying to keep you from moving, it makes you want to get out of that situation. You know, so that's, to me, that's Aries energy. I can't stand driving around somebody and like they jump in front of you and they start driving slow. I'm like, what the hell you jumping in front of me for?
Road rage.
What the hell you were? You know what I mean? Because in my mind, it's like, you're trying to keep me from going where I need to go, and it has nothing to do with that, but that's what it feels like. So, the energy is to go, do. And
there you go. No pun intended, you just want to ram their car.
Exactly. Like a ram truck, you know. But,
connecting the dots.
Right.
Yes.
But it's a powerful energy, but it can lead you to frustration if you don't know what it is, and you don't know why you're feeling frustrated. A lot of times you're just feeling frustrated because you feel like you're not able to use your energy. You're not able to do what you want to do or need to do.
Thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely. And part of it is immaturity.
Immaturity is big. Thank you for lifting up immaturity because that's exactly what Aries energy is, a baby. And on the shadow side of Aries, there's a lack of follow through. You know, just that initial energy,
Right.
but it can lead to a lack of follow through if you don't be careful with that energy. You know, but they go hard. Aries energy go hard.
Aries tend to initiate.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that thing is. You start projects, and you may not finish them because you start another project.
Right. You like the start part. You like get that initial dirt out the way, right? Building that tunnel. It made me think of you guys know that movie Glory with Denzel and Morgan Freeman. And at the end, when they had to go fight that war, like they knew they had to be that first platoon going in, that they were going to suffer a lot of casualties because they had to, you know, the strategy was to use that group of people to break through so that the secondary troops can come in. And so it was like a sacrificial lamb, so to speak. It's interesting to about lamb and lamb is not the same thing as a sheep, but they are similar. Point being that they had to break through. They had to break that barrier, and they did. You know what I mean? But they did suffer a lot of loss, being that initial group of people busting through. And we learned about that even yesterday at that event. The founders of the Langston Hughes talking about how they started the Langston Hughes. You know, growing up, I just thought it was always there. You know, sometimes you just think things are just always there, and you don't realize that no, people had to fight and spearhead that and make it happen. You know, and keep it going. But man, today was a beautiful discussion. I really want to thank y'all for coming. I want to check in with everybody before we leave at 8:30. It's 8:24, and I just want to go around one time and just hear from everybody. You know, what they're leaving with or take away today, or just overall vibe or something like that. Anybody want to start? Anybody want to initiate?
I feel more energized. Women power. I feel more energized.
Ashe, love that. Thank you, Amina.
I just feel in tune.
In tune. Ashe. In tune with the moon.
A little more thoughtful than when I started. I had a lot of my days are weird, but I feel weird. But coming in, I didn't want to sit. So it taught me that it caused me to sit for a moment and think about what time frame we're in and how I'm responding to it and why I may be feeling what I feel. That has nothing to do with me internally, but what's being tapped into.
Ashe. Thank you.
Welcome, Ashe.
Oh, and can I mention one more thing? Because, you know, I make jewelry and everything. I got a new line of something. Check this out. Look. Art by Amina brooch clips.
Brooch clips.
Pretty.
Nice. Art by Amina.
Pretty.
Thank you for sharing. How can people find it?
Ganja clips.
Ganja
Oh, I thought you said brooch clips.
I thought you said brooch clips too.
You said brooch clips. Got it. Okay. Even better. I have to come see you.
Say, you know what I said? I got on Facebook, you know, remember the cookies, chips, ahoy. These are clips ahoy.
I can't. Don't do that to me right now, Vita. Oh my God.
Laughter is the best medicine.
Yes, yes.
Yes, it is.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes.
Oh, see, come on, and visit me.
Yeah, those are gorge. Those are gorge.
So
Lee, what are you leaving with?
I leaving with kind of like a cheerful vibe. I feel regenerated and in tune. Someone said in tune, and I feel that too. I feel like that's the vibe of the card of the day, King of Cups. I do feel a little more in tune with like my affirmations. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I just want to say that I feel in tune too. Today made me feel like one more reason or one more experience that validates trusting my intuitive self. And yeah, so I'm just feeling really good. I'm feeling in tune with everybody, like all telepathic and shit. We was talking about telepathy earlier, like all connected and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like we're connected, and I think that's beautiful. And thank y'all. Listen, we're gonna be getting together again on the full moon coming up. It's in Libra, bitches. So you know, look at your birth chart, find Libra in your birth chart, and see how this new moon is gonna be affecting us. I mean, did I say new moon? I meant to say full moon coming up in Libra on the 16th. And the moon goes through different, you know, cycles. It's not just the new moon and the full moon, but I just highlight those to, you know, get us into paying attention to the moon. So that being said, I love y'all. Get something, be something, do something. Radical self-love all day, all night. Happy new moon, blessed Ramadan. And I hope to see you guys at the full moon radical self-love.
This a survival story.
Check the website.
True get a story. This is my story. Real get a story. Hey, I remember those days when hell was my home, when me and mama bed was a big piece. I remember those days when hell was my home, when me and mama bed was a big